Tonight is the final installment of features created by students from our spring 2025 482 class here at Penn State. The students went to Climate Central and found topics of interest. And tonight you are going to learn about electric vehicles, solar for schools, as well as heat and sports.
In the U.S., driving isn't just a way to get around. It's a symbol of our freedom and independence. But that freedom comes with an environmental cost. Switching from gas to electric vehicles is just one way to reduce our impact while keeping that sense of independence.
According to Forbes, over 91% of U.S. households own at least one vehicle, and more than 1 in 5 households own 3 or more. Our love for cars reflects our values, but it also reflects our carbon footprint. Transportation is responsible for about 22% of U.S. carbon emissions according to the EPA, with gas-powered vehicles being a major contributor. But momentum is shifting. Electric vehicles made up nearly 17% of new car sales in 2023, with California leading the way in EV ownership. Why are more Americans going electric? Efficiency is a big part of it. Climate Central reports that internal combustion engines waste up to 88% of their energy as heat, while EVs use nearly all the electricity they're given to move the vehicle. That means fewer emissions and more savings. Let's break it down. In 2020, a Honda Civic cost around $22,000, but over 200,000 miles, the total cost of ownership, including gas and maintenance, was nearly $45,000. A fully electric Chevy Bolt had a higher sticker price at $36,500, but thanks to lower fuel and maintenance costs, its 200,000-mile ownership total came in under $39,000. That's over $6,000 in savings, without even factoring in potential tax credits of up to $7,500. Consumers willing to spend a bit more money up front could recoup that cost within just a few years of ownership with the savings of going electric. And the savings don't stop there. While gas prices average over $30 for 200 miles of driving, powering an EV for the same distance often costs less than $20 when charging at home.
Electric vehicles are becoming more affordable, more efficient, and more accessible, and are one of the easiest ways to drive towards a cleaner, greener future. For Weather World, I'm Filippo Formica.
We are now in the dog days of summer, and this means we are thinking about the sun more than any other time of the year. From temperatures to UV index values, we typically pay more attention to the sun during the summer so we know how to plan our days. But something about the sun that is not brought up often is the fact it can be used as a power source. According to Climate Central, Pennsylvania's solar capacity has increased by over 1,000 megawatts between 2014 and 2023. You might have noticed this growing capacity when your neighbor put up solar panels, or maybe you've heard about a new solar farm being built nearby. But what you might not know is that the sun could soon be powering classrooms across the Commonwealth. In July of 2024, Pennsylvania lawmakers passed the Solar for Schools Act, creating a $25 million grant program for K-12 schools, trade schools, and community colleges. In part, this program would cover up to half of the installation costs for solar panels. Additionally, the Inflation Reduction Act made similar efforts to incentivize schools to implement clean energy practices. This piece of legislation gives the ability for schools to receive up to 30% of reimbursements for any installation costs. The Philadelphia Energy Authority estimates some schools in their city could save up to 90% of the upfront costs by going solar. These said installation costs have been on the decline throughout the last decade, so it is now cheaper than ever to do so. Switching to solar isn't just so schools can save money, but it's also an investment for the future, both financially and environmentally. What is better than teaching the younger generations about sustainability? For Weather World, I'm Ethan Zarek.
More schools are facing a new opponent as days with extreme heat spike, putting athletes at greater risk on the field. As our climate changes, we are continuing to see a rise in temperatures, especially in the summertime. Not only is this a concern for the population as a whole, but it also puts athletes in greater danger. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, heat-related illness is a leading cause of death or disability among student athletes. An analysis conducted by Climate Central revealed that as of 2023, Central Pennsylvania has experienced 18 more extreme hot days dating back to 1970. These extreme hot days were based on annual summer highs in which temperatures exceed the 95th percentile. In other words, these days are hotter than 95% of all summer days recorded since 1970. Philadelphia has also seen an increase of 17 more extreme hot days, and Pennsylvania is not the only state experiencing this upward trend. This pattern is a part of a more broad shift, as 212 out of the 242 locations analyzed in the U.S. by Climate Central also saw an increase in extreme hot days. On average, these locations now experience 15 more extreme hot days than in the early 1970s. Engaging in outdoor activities when it's too hot can lead to heat-induced illness. Youth and teen athletes are especially at risk. Compared to adults, they sweat less and adjust to heat at a slower rate. Implementing strategies to help decrease the amount of heat-related illness is crucial. Adjusting practice schedules to cooler times of day and closely monitoring athletes for signs of heat stress are some steps coaches can take to reduce risk and ensure safety. Measures like these are becoming key players in the game against extreme heat, keeping athletes safer on and off the field. For Weather World, I'm Jenna Gurtz.